Okay, today I'm making shrimp and grits. I'm gonna start off by boiling chicken broth, or at least heating it up till it's hot, and then I'm gonna add my grits, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of salt gradually towards the end when it's almost done, and I'm gonna add also my cheese and some sour cream and butter, and we're gonna go from there. Okay, so after it has absorbed the liquid that you originally put it in there, then add your butter and then just gradually add more chicken broth because you don't want it to be too watery, so that's why you just start off with a good low portion and then just add to it. Okay, stir. Now the chicken broth has its own salt in there, so that's why I didn't add salt in there, because of course we all know if you don't put salt in grits it's gonna stick and be clumpy, and we don't want that. So since my chicken broth already have salt and liquid, it's like a perfect thing to use instead of water to make your grits. Now, as you see, it's also absorbing that as well, so we're going to add more to it. So this is a 32-ounce jug of chicken broth. So yeah, so far, and it was a new box when I opened it, so far it's mostly used, just about. It's like a little less than half. So we want this to come to a light boil, and I'm gonna put it on low so we can continue to cook and not absorb the liquid so fast. So I'm just stirring it in to make sure it's enough liquid in there for it. And it looks like it is. As you can see how it's clear right there and it's thick down there, so that means that it's enough liquid, it's not absorbing it so fast. So I'm gonna let this cook. I'm gonna cover it low, like medium low, and let it slowly cook. Okay, so I wait for my cookware to heat up. Then I add the olive oil, and now we're gonna add some butter. You can put as much butter as you want to in there, and let that melt down. All right, now I'm gonna add my shrimp. Make sure that it's evenly coated with the mixture of butter and olive oil. So now I'm going to add my seasonings. Alright, so I added my Cajun seasonings. You can add the Cajun seasonings of your choice. Now, I had leftovers. This is going to sound ghetto, please don't judge me. I had leftover seasonings from Popeyes, and I used 3 packets. It has everything in there. Why not use it? You can learn to utilize your stuff around your house, leftover seasoning packets, leftover, foods and whatnot, and create such a wonderful dish and have less waste and save money. So that's what I did. Now I'm going to let this cook because I want the liquid to absorb in the shrimp. Meanwhile, let's check on the grits. Okay, so it has thickened up completely and it pretty much absorbed a lot of the liquid. So I'm going to add my buttermilk. Not too much. Then I'm going to add my sour cream. That's a good amount. It's like probably 2 3 tablespoons full. Okay, I'm gonna mix that in there because now I want it to be creamy. Start my creamy process. Woo, that scared me. There is some sticking to the bottom, but not as much grits. It'll start creaming up and thickening up, and the bottom of the pan, the cookware, will start to loosen up those pieces that were stuck to the bottom. As you can see, it's looking a lot creamier. Now, I want to make sure that my grits are completely done, so I'm not done cooking them. I'm going to add the remainder of the broth. So you can say I used a whole 32 ounce of broth in there. There we go. Yes. Mix that in there slowly. This to be all the way cooked and creamy. We don't want no hard pieces in our grits, right? Oh, look at that. I know it looks watery now, but give it a few minutes. We want to make sure we get all those pieces that are stuck at the bottom off so they can cook as well. There we go. All right. So now we're going to let this simmer some more, still on the same setting. And then we're going to get back to our shrimp. As you can see, the liquids is not quite absorbing, but it's thickening up, which is going to create that coating for the shrimp as I want. So now let's get to the lemon juice. Then I'm gonna cut my onions. These are green onions. I love green onions. This is gonna be the topping of our shrimp and grits. So I'm gonna, I like to always cut a layer off because I can be kind of OCD about the whole dirty thing, where they have a fresh new side. You might think it's overcooked, but it'll be alright. Gonna be eating. Turn this off. I'm gonna be eating it because it'll be alright. Now, for those that don't want theirs overcooked, that's fine. There's another method for that. My madness. Just go ahead and take it off as early as you want it, and just let it soak up the juices like that. So I like mine cooked. Okay, so I added the white part of the onion into here so it can cook a little bit and it won't be as strong. And so the green onion, like the green part of the onion, is going to be like the topping. So let's go over here, and I did turn it off because it's completely done. So let's go over here and see how our grits are doing over here. Okay, looking good. It's creamy, it's thickening up. I did add a little bit more butter in there. enough liquidy for my taste, so I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more with the medium. Okay, continue to cook because I'm gonna add my cheese in soon. It's American cheese. I usually don't like American cheese. I usually do cheddar and maybe some Colby Jack for a little spice. But today, I'm gonna use the ghetto cheese, as they say back in my day. We're gonna use that government cheese. Okay, so I'm waiting for it to thicken up the way I want it. So I'm gonna leave this off so it can thicken up. So I'm just covering my shrimp with the thing that I use, the top that I use for that, because the grits need to evaporate some of that liquid. So while I was doing that, I just covered my shrimp. It keeps it warm. It keeps those onions trying to saute a little bit, not be as crunchy and not be as strong. Showing you the green that I'm going to be using for my toppings and the blocks of cheese that I'm going to be using. And this is thick cheese, and this cheese melts well and it spreads well. So that's what I'm going to be using. And I learned that you don't need too much because this cheese will get it done. You won't have to use a lot. But it depends on how cheesy you want it. And as the cheese melts and as it melts well with the grits, it's going to automatically thicken up. And it's going to be good and creamy, so I can't wait to show you guys. Okay, so the thickness is on point, so I'm going to go ahead and add my cheese. As hot as it is, you know how grits, if you touch grits, it's going to burn the crap out of your hands. So imagine what it's doing to the cheese. The flavor is on point. I tasted it. It's got plenty of salt, the right amount of salt intake, and I didn't even use any salt. It's just all the product that I use has its own salt, and it made it perfect. Okay, it's pretty much melted all. You got a couple of chunks in there, but they're small and they'll melt really fast. So let's turn this off. And let's get ready to plate. Yay! Alright, so we're gonna plate these grits. And we're gonna plate our shrimp. And we're gonna plate our green onions. I'm gonna show you the results.